It was 3 weeks ago tonight that we had the 6th season of the Gratton Cup Series wrap up at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Dawson Miller, despite a somewhat lackluster run, came home with the championship after a 19th place finish at the Homestead-Miami Speedway, his first Gratton Cup Series championship. Since that night, a lot has changed. Lots of teams and drivers are on their way out, and lots of new teams and owners on their way in for the 7th season of the Gratton Cup Series. But tonight, we round out Season 6 with an exhibition race here at the new Smyrna Speedway just south of the Daytona International Speedway. This is the new Smyrna Showdown. It is going to be a long one here tonight. In total, 150 laps of action across 3 different races in the final event of the 6th season of the Gratton Cup Series. Hello everyone, and welcome to the new Smyrna Speedway for the new Smyrna Showdown, the final race of the season and not points event here at the new Smyrna Speedway. We got three races, 2 heats, 1 main coming up tonight. 150 laps of action in total, so there's a fair bit going on. Stuart Gratton with Isaac Nichols, the owner of Nicotech, and got to say congratulations. Obviously, Dawson Miller won the championship 3 weeks ago. That was a great moment for you guys, so congratulations. I do have to start with obviously the acknowledgement of the unfortunate, very sad, tragic news of the passing of Kyle Busch, who very sadly passed away last Thursday, and that was tragic news for not just NASCAR people, or not just us here in this community, but I think the motorsport community in general. 63 Cup Series wins, 102 O'Reilly wins, 69 Truck Series wins, 234 in total, and 2 Cup Series championships. He was a remarkable talent, and I think before we go any further into this race, I think it's right that we acknowledge him here in this one. Very sad news, Isaac, throughout the week.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the impact that he's had on the whole sport as a whole, it cannot be looked past. Like, whether you loved him or hated him, like, he was an incredible driver, and it's really not even sunk in, like, the fact that he has passed away. And I think it's not gonna really sink in fully for a very long time. And yeah, it's just such a sad moment for the sport.
100%, and he was always a showman as well. And
oh yeah, for sure.
The sport is sport was better with Kyle Busch in it, and it is a very tough loss, of course, not just for NASCAR and the NASCAR community, but of course motorsports in general. So may he rest in peace. In terms of what we've got here tonight in the new Smyrna Showdown, we've got 3 races. We've got 2 heats. With the first one here, this is heat number 1. That you got the cars here on the grid. We're going to have 2 heats, and then we're going to have a main, which will be 100 laps in length. The 2 heats will be 25 laps in length, so there should be a graphic on your screen now. Just kind of summarising how this will work. So the top 4 finishers here in heats 1 and 2 will be guaranteed a spot into the main event. 15 drivers are already locked in because they won points-paying races in the 6th season of the Gratton Cup Series. So they're locked in, and they will start 1st through 15th. Then these guys, top 4 finishers in heats 1 and 2, will be guaranteed 16th through 23rd. And then it kind of gets maybe a little bit complex here with whoever finishes 5th in the 2 heats. The higher of the 2 in owner points will get the final spot. So if you finish 5th here, unless you're Jared Oren, who starts on the pole here in heat 1, if you finish 5th here in heat 1, you have to wait until the end of heat 2 to find out if you made it to the main event, because New Smyrna holds only 24 cars. But this is a very, very fun racetrack, Isaac. It's quite chaotic, lots of passing. It's one of the best short tracks in the game. So what are you looking forward to here tonight?
It's going to be very wild. I think whenever we go to a short track, it can be very unpredictable, and these guys are really just out there for bragging rights. So there's no championship to play into. There's nothing like that. So they're going to give it their all and see what they can get away with.
Absolutely. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll see how aggressive they are, especially in the first two heats, and then how aggressive is the main event. We'll find out. We'll have pit stops in the main, no pit stops here in the heat races, it should be said, as well. Let's run through our starting lineup. These are all the drivers that did not get a win this year, and 15 drivers in each. We've worked this out beautifully. 15 drivers already locked into the main, and then 15 drivers in both heats. So it's worked out pretty well for us. But Jared Oren was the highest driver of points without a race win, and so he will start on the pole here tonight. He's alongside Jake Rogers in the number 40. Both of those guys will return to their respective teams next season. Seemingly, this is the last hurrah for Julio Cesar in the 26, one of the long-time veterans. He starts third here tonight, and Richard Fridge here in the number 20. He won't return to the series, and neither will his team, Seminole Motors. This will be their last event in the Cup Series. Thomas Troxell in the 62 had a good run at North Wilkesboro late in the season. He'll return to that car next year. And Duncan Ward in the 54s also run pretty well on some short tracks in the past in that 54. He moves to Evans Ross Racing. And here is one of the Evans Ross Racing cars. Will Parrish in the 11. He'll move to Fitzwater Australia Racing next year. And then Tyson Gifford in the number 7. He's hoping to run a one-off at the Daytona 500 next year. Of course, his team won the Teams Championship 3 weeks ago now. He had a very good season from an ownership perspective, so congratulations to him and that team. Ludovic Charette in the 23 will move to your team, Isaac, to Nicotech Racing next season. That'll be fun to watch. And Echo Evans Ross in the 18, who filled in for Bryce Egan late in the season, will start from the 10th position. Leonard Koshima in the 03 will return to Team Williams next year in this car. Alongside Tyler Jericho in the 63 will move to the 54, but will remain for Lossistar next season. Kyla Sustre in the 59 will move to a new team next year in Davenport Performance. He starts from 13th here tonight. And Derek Hamill in the 44, and what is his last start, and what will be Monkey Racing's last event. And then all by himself at the rear of the field is Alejandro Cruz in the 46. He'll move to O2 Racing. It's either O2 or O Squared Racing. I've got to figure that one out, but he will move to the 29 next season for Carson Millen's team, which will be an interesting one, a new team on the grid as well. You see the rest of the starting lineup on the left side of your screen. We'll get the cars to roll off here a little bit later. Isaac, I'll get your predictions first and foremost. Who do you think is going to advance, or win, rather, Heat 1 and advance to the main event?
I'm trying not to be biased here, but I think I am actually going to go with my man Julio Cesar. He'll be wanting to have one last hurrah in that car. He obviously didn't have the best of runs throughout the season, but I think he might be able to get this one done here.
Indeed, it'll be quite interesting to see how he goes in that car and what is his seemingly last Cup Series event. Of course, we are recording this well in advance, so I don't know, crazy things have happened, but it does seem likely that this will be his final event. So we'll get the cars to fire up here and roll off. Just starting lineup and all the graphics on the left side of your screen as per normal. As I said, 25 laps, and so it goes by quickly here at North Wilkesboro. New Smyrna even. It's half a mile in length, so laps go by quickly. It'll be quite fun to see who can come out on top in this non-points event here to round out the season. And we'll keep an eye on that cut line throughout the night, and we'll see how it all plays out. So it's been a great season. A big thank you to everyone. We're looking forward to season 7, but tonight we round out season 6 with the non-points event here at New Smyrna. Jared Oren, Jake Rogers, 2 of the series veterans on the front row. Green flags in the air, and we are underway here at New Smyrna. And out of turn 4 to complete the first lap, it is Jared Oren in that number 99, and he will lead the first lap of action. With Jake Rogers in second, but here comes Julio Cesar on the inside. Thomas Troxell has moved his way into the guaranteed spot. He's now in 4th. Will Parrish on his way forward on that inside with Ludovic Charette, his current teammate, but won't be teammates next year. They're both moving their way forward up into 5th and 6th. Cesar looks like he might be able to get around the 40.
Yes, he will. He's just gonna get outside cleared, and he's gonna try and make his way up to Oren, which he has pushed quite the gap for that lead. I think he's almost a whole second ahead, and just goes to show the pace that that car has had all year. Of course, they haven't been quite up to scratch to the Gifford cars and to Miller, but I think yeah, enough can't be said about NS racing this year, and it's going to be really fun to see how they perform as we see now Charette make her way into the top 5, getting around Rogers, and Koshma's going to put the bumper to Rogers as well and get past him. And Rogers has really fallen back on that outside. He hasn't really had a chance to get down low, and it's really hurting his chances, and he's a long way back now. He's back into 7th. Actually, now with Gifford trying to get to his inside, falling back to possibly even 8th. He's at the moment not going to be making it out of this heat. And Tyson Gifford, of course, we know his hopes to run the Daytona 500. He's been pretty decent at times throughout this year in that car, and of course with the new rules around owner drivers not being able to run a full season next season, he'll be wanting to make the most of his chance here, as we now see Will Parrish making a move on Koshma down to the inside. Those Evans Ross Racing cars looking pretty quick so far at the moment, making their way down to the front, and now the field is pretty much single file all the way along.
Yeah, definitely. And right now, Thomas Troxel in that final automatic promotion, automatically guaranteed spot, but he may not be there for long because Will Parrish looks very racy here in the 11, although he can't quite get to the inside. Ludovic Charette in the 23, so actually closing in on the car that she's going to drive next year, that 26. Interestingly enough, and here we go for that final automatic transfer position. Will Parrish in the number 11. He's going to take that position away. So Troxel now down to the 5th position. Of course, if you're 6th or lower, it doesn't particularly matter how well you do, because if you're 6th or lower, you're not going to make it onto the main. So Koshma back to the inside of Troxel. It's a bit of a surprise, actually, because Troxel ran very well, as I said, at North Wilkesboro, where he finished 3rd that night and actually led pretty late on. He just doesn't quite have as much speed as perhaps I would have anticipated. He's now behind Koshma and out of those positions, and he's going to lose a spot to Gifford here as well. So not a good position for him to be in. You see Rogers and Richard Fridge as well also struggled to get down low, and that had an impact. You've got Duncan Ward back in there, the 54. He's struggled. He's down in 11th. Alejandro Cruz in 12th, ahead of Tyler Jericho. Those two Velocitar cars stuck on the outside early and haven't been able to recover. Echo Evans Ross and Derek Hamill round out the field. Jared Oren is 2.5 seconds up, but it's the 2 Evans Ross racing cars at the moment that are working their way forward. Of course, all 3 of these drivers currently in the transfer spots. Charette on the inside of Caesar, and is going to make her way past, you'd imagine. The inside lane by far and away the preferred lane. Koshma is now up into the 5th position. I think there's a bit of a battle there with himself and Gifford, and now Rogers trying to work his way back into it as well here in the 40. As Charette's up to 2nd, Parrish going for 3rd. So good run here for 2 of the 3 Evans Ross Racing cars, looking like they're going to be in the main event. It's been all Jared Oren. He has dominated. He's led every lap. He's got a big gap. It's nice and cruisy here for him, and if he does win this race, he'll start... Actually, it's probably not an ideal position for him to be in. He'll start 16th. You probably want to be on the inside at the start, but of course the main event a lot longer than these heat races. But this is where the battle probably is at the moment. Koshma, Gifford, Rogers, Fridge all fighting for that last spot with 6 to go.
Yep, this is mainly where the battle's going to be at for, I think, the rest of the race. I think those positions up at the front have been really sealed at this point. I think, yeah, if anyone can get to that 03, it's going to be pretty tricky. You can actually see him pulling away from Gifford and Rogers at the moment. And yeah, those Evans Ross racing cars also starting to pull away quite comfortably, but no one's pulling away as much as Gerald Oren is at the front. He's just a class ahead of everyone else at the moment. But yeah, Koshman's doing really all he can do at the moment to be in that fifth position. Of course, this car not that very high in owner's points, so he's going to need someone who is lower than him in owner's points to be in that fifth position in the next heat if he wants to make it in, which is going to be quite the task. So if he's able to get to Caesar, he's going to try, and he might actually be making ground on him. It's going to be very tricky for him to do that, but I think Will Parrish behind is actually knocking at the bumper of Charette at the moment and looking to make a move.
Indeed. White flag's in the air, and Gerald Oren's about to get the checker flag. Didn't win a points-paying race, but he's going to win the heat. We'll start 16 in the main event. Gerald Oren takes the checkered flag in Heat 1 ahead of Charette, Parrish and Caesar. They are locked in. It'll be a bit of a nervous wait for Leonard Koshma. Right now he finishes in 5th, and if, as you said, someone finishes 30, who's 36th or lower in owner, 37th or lower in owner points, finishes in the 5th position next event, he will find his way into the main event. But a nice effort there from this number 99, and Gerald Oren gets the job done pretty easily in the end. 3 seconds. He really pulled away from the field. Comfortable win. Ludovic Charette, Will Parrish, Julio Caesar, as we said, making their way. Nice drive actually from those two Evans Ross Fords to get to 2nd and 3rd. That's a pretty good result in the grand scheme of things. Caesar as well in at Koshma 5th. Everybody else are all going home, and that is their season done and dusted. So enough of that. Let's move our way on to heat number 2. And here we are for heat number 2. We've got everybody sorted and ready to roll here at the new Smyrna Speedway for heat number 2. And we'll quickly run through the starting lineup here. Same as what we had before. 25 laps, top 4 advance on 5th place permutations are very interesting because it's Leonard Koshma who finished 5th in heat 1. So that'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. Matthew Hubert, who had a great year, didn't quite win Rookie of the Year, but did finish top 10 in the points. He's on the pole alongside Rogel Dawn. Those two will both return to their respective teams next year. Addison Steinbach, this is the last start for DW Motorsports and for Addison Steinbach. And, of course, DW Motorsports, the most successful team in series history with 39 race wins. This is their final start. Remarkable to say. They've had a great run, and we'll see. Well, it might be your team, Isaac, that really takes that next step up, I suppose, as the next great empire of the series. Kean Raleigh in the number 10, his final start here in the Cup Series. He'll start from 4th. Christian Vargas in what will seemingly be his last start as well in the 36. He'll be starting alongside Logan Williams, who will return to that car next year in the 33. Colin Denton, as I said before, DW Motorsports last start. Denton definitely not returning in that 21. He's alongside Nathan Smith, who will drive for your team next year in the number 48, which is no pressure given that car won the championship, of course. Jack Haas in the 00 will return to Team Williams as well, alongside Nicholas Samudio. I've got to start saying his name correct, Samudio. He is in the 45 here for Seminole Motors in what is their final start. He will join a new team in Big Motorsports next season. And then these guys, this is where it gets interesting. Alex Sanfatale in the 37, he'll return to that car next year, and he'll be joined he's joined on this, 6th row of the grid, by his future teammate and Roberto Crown Jr., who will join Hairgel Motorsports next year. Josh Williamson, what is his likely final start, alongside Eric Monaco, who will also drive at Hairgel Motorsports next year. So all 4 of the Hairgel drivers for next year in this event. Ethan Lewis at the rear of the field. And I want to mention these 5 guys, if any of the 5 finish 5th, then that guarantees Leonard Koshma getting in, but anyone from Samudio on up in this starting lineup will get in with a 5th place finish. So few permutations with all that, but see starting lineup, left side of your screen, graphics and all that. Isaac, we saw Gerald Oren dominate from the pole in Heat 1. Can Matthew Hubert do the same? Who do you think's gonna win Heat 2?
I think I will go with the pole sitter this time. I think Hubert, he's pretty decent driver. He's got pretty decent equipment. I mean, the point standings really attribute to that. So I'm going to go with Hubert.
Good pick, I would say. He's had a great season and was very close a couple times again. That race win couldn't quite do it, but he's got a good shot here to at least get something here in this one. And if whoever wins this event is in a better position than Jared Oren, interestingly enough, because they'll start on the inside from 17th. And so, cars are firing up. We'll roll off here in a moment. And as I said before, 25 laps. They go by very, very quickly, these heat races. So, not much time. If you get mired back early on, it's hard to make your way back forward. And I think we could say that was the case for guys like Rogers and Fridge, who started on that outside second and fourth. They dropped back and were unable to make their way back into the top 5. So starting on the inside goes a long way here, but we'll see what Dawn and Rowley and Williams can do from the outside. And as the pace car dives on the pit road, the second heat coming your way right here, right now. Green flags in the air are underway. Heat 2 of the new Smyrna Showdown. And as they round turn 4, first lap is led by Matthew Hubert in the number 8, and gets clear now of Rogal Dawn. Addison Steinbach on his way forward to second. Of course, he did quite well for himself early in the season. Best career finish at Colorado. He finished second, so he can also run quite well here on the short track. Dawn still on the outside. This time it's Christian Vargas here in the 36, his current teammate. Going to get to the inside and get up to third. Denton currently in the last transfer position in car 21, but he's got Jack Haas, Alex Sanvatale on their way forward, same with Josh Williamson. And unlike what we saw in Heat 1, the leader has not pulled away. Here comes Addison Steinbach, the 98. He has launched beautifully. He's right on the back of Hubert.
Yes, he is. He's looking to get this and try and get this heat win, and looking very fast at the moment. Hubert has not pulled away whatsoever, and it's going to be interesting to see how this develops. And further on behind, Rogal Dawn's been able to get to the inside, and now Jack Haas in that 5th spot would take his teammate out and take that final spot in the main event if he does manage to stay in that position, and has quite a considerable gap to Alexander Vitali, who now takes 6th position away from Denton. You can see Denton and Rowley both falling back quite a lot on the outside, as now Steinbach going to the inside, trying to get to the bumper to Hubert, not quite going to get there just yet, and we'll go back into line. Going to have to regroup and try and make that lost ground, that lost momentum back. Hubert at the moment doing a really good job to defend that lead, and not what Steinbach would have wanted there. Now Dawn looking to the inside of Vargas and trying to make this what could possibly be a 4-horse race for the win in this heat. And Hubert is doing all he can, and Steinbach, that's a bit of a bad corner for Steinbach. Loses a whole bunch of momentum and is going to start falling into the clutches of Vargas and Dawn. Dawn really looking to the inside of that 36, going to try and get that position, but going to need to set that pass up well if he wants to make that one stick.
Right now, Jack Haas in the 00 has that final transfer position. It's funny for Lenny Koshima, his teammate, he's actually cheering against his teammate. He wants Alex Sanvatale to get past. Sanvatale needs to get to 4th if he is to make the race. Keen Rowley trying to make his way back forward. He was on the outside at the start as he goes up and clears Josh Williamson. Here comes Roberto Crown though with a good run. Thought about couldn't quite get to the inside there of Rowley. Now Rowley slips up. Here goes the 43 to the inside. So couldn't get the run off. So Rowley will hold position. But right now, it is a 4-horse race at the front, with Haas trying to close in as well. Hubert has led every lap so far, like we saw with Oren before, but he has not dominated in the way Oren certainly did. And Vargas all over the back here of Steinbach. He actually had a very good back end of the season in 36 after PRM probably struggled a bit more than they hoped in the second half of the season. Probably no one more so than Kelly Lee, I think it'd be fair to say. But Dawn right now doing a good job. Got 11 laps to go, and Vargas as well, of course. They're running right now 3rd and 4th, but Haas is closing in. San Vitale is certainly not out of it either. So those guys getting a wriggle on and trying to close in here as Matthew Hubert's still holding the lead. But once again, the pole sitter has been able to hold and lead every lap so far, but with Steinbach right there, it's fair to say that this thing is far from over.
Yeah, Steinbach has been able to regroup and get back to the bumper of Hubert, and it is definitely far from over. Just trying to get that inside, just like Dawn's trying to get that inside of Vargas, and still cannot get that position done. And I think Steinbach, yes, gonna be peeking to the inside of Hubert, side by side, into turn 1, out of turn 2, can't quite clear just yet. Hubert's gonna get the run on the outside and gonna try and rip around the outside to keep that spot. Not quite got the momentum, and Steinbach is going to take the lead.
He does take the lead, leads that lap. First lead change in either of the races we've seen tonight as Dawn up to 3rd. And look at Haas and look at San Vitale. So it's going to be close here for this Valletta Koshma, who's watching on and just hoping the 37 could do something about that 5th spot. But Steinbach now leading. He did win a dual race earlier in the season at Daytona. But of course that was a non-points paying event as well. So currently leading, we can get his 2nd non-points paying win of the season. Hubert's 2nd. Dawn, who's run very well here previously. He did win the GRL points race here last year. And then Vargas, Haas, and San Vitale. It looks like it's going to come down to those guys. I think Kean Rowley probably a bit too far out of it. But Steinbach's got a little bit of a gap here in the 98. Hoping to win this one and start from 17th in the main event. With Hubert, Dawn, Vargas, Haas, and there's 37. So this is where the battle's going to be. Jack Haas currently in position to make the race, but he's got to hold off Alex San Vitale. 3 laps to go here at New Smyrna.
He's really pushing to get this final spot. Of course, San Vitale needing 2 positions at the moment. It's going to be a very long shot. Honestly, it's almost his choice on whether Haas or Koshma makes it in, but of course Haas can do himself some favors and get a few more spots to solidify his place in the main event as the final lap white flag flies for Addison Steinbach.
Steinbach's on his way home. He is going to win this heat, barring something crazy happening. It looks like Jack Haas is going to eliminate his teammate Koshma. Checkered flag, Addison Steinbach wins Heat 2, and it is Jack Haas home in 5th, and so he gets the tiebreaker over his teammates, and Jack Haas will start from the last position, but at least he's in the main event, and that's the most important thing. San Vitale is a couple positions too short in the end. Steinbach gets the win. Hubert, Dawn, Vargas, and Haas will race in the main event. And you're going to see the final results on your screen right now. The Steinbach ahead of Hubert, Dawn, Vargas, Haas. The rest don't matter. And for Valletta Koshma, who was hoping that he can make his way into the main event, he falls short, unfortunately, in the 03, and that is his season done and dusted. So, entertaining race. Good that we actually got a lead change this time, and it was a lot more competitive. Of course, we saw what Oren was able to do before was very, very impressive. So in terms of, we'll go through the starting lineup, I think, when we get to the main event. But Steinbach will start from 17th. Matthew Hubert will actually start 18th because Hubert has the tiebreaker in terms of the drivers that finish second. So he will start from 18th. I think Rogal Dawn will start 20th. So we'll get that all sorted, but let's quickly move along to our main event, 100 laps around the new Smyrna Speedway coming up. Here we are for the final race of the season. It is the main event here at the new Smyrna Speedway, the new Smyrna Showdown. Big thank you to everyone for tuning in so far. Of course, the first 2 races have been squeaky clean, pretty quick. not much has happened. We did have the one lead change in Heat 2, which was good, but not a whole hell of a lot has happened so far. I don't expect that to remain the case here in this one. This is the main event for all the marbles, for bragging rights as you head into the off-season, and it'll be very interesting to see who comes out on top in this one. And of course, we've got 24 drivers this time on the track as well. That adds an extra layer to it. Of course, we only had the 15 in the first 2 heats. Isaac, we've seen 2 heats now. What are your expectations for what you're going to see in this main with all these drivers now that have gone to victory lane throughout the season?
Chaos. Let's go with that. I think, yeah, as I mentioned at the start of this, like, there is nothing to play for but bragging rights, and that's the type of racing we're going to see. Absolute, complete, unrestricted chaos.
I like that. I like chaos. Chaos is good at times, and so we'll see how this one goes. And of course, you mentioned bragging rights for drivers heading into the off-season. For some of these drivers, they're not returning next season, so probably none more high profile than the guy that starts on the pole. We've got the starting lineup here, and now we'll run through the whole field of cars. Dawson Miller, our series champion, he's going to retire from the series. So this will be his last start in the number 48. What a great career he has had, and glad he gets to go out with a championship. 14 career wins in that number 48, the most of any driver. He starts alongside Henry Gore, who won at COTA early in the year. Miller won 3 times throughout the season. Gore won at COTA early in the year, was so close to winning the championship, but just wasn't quite able to get the job done, but he will start from second. Alexander Rowe, 5-time winner this year. Dominic Anthony, 2-time winner this year. All 3 of those guys are Gifford. Will be returning to Gifford Technologies Incorporated next year, so watch out for them. And its racing teammates, both also returning to the series and returning to the team next year. Eli Bright in the number 95, 3 wins this season, and the number 96 of Benny Watson, 5 wins this season. So they'll be very fun to watch next year as well. 2 drivers that are not returning. Tristan Allen is one of 2 drivers to have raced in every single Cup Series event. He seemingly will not be returning to the Cup Series next year, which is a shame, to say the least. Series champion in Season 5 and a 12-time race winner, but doesn't look like he'll return to the Series next year. He may return in the future, but doesn't look like he'll return for Season 7. And, of course, we know DAB Motorsport closing down. Noah Clifton will also not be returning to the series next year in the number 13. He got a win earlier on in the season at Oregon. And Allen won at Texas earlier in the season. Charlie Davenport, who won at Auto Club, he'll become a team owner next year with Davenport Performance. So this will be his last start in the 52. Max Davis will drive the car that's directly in front of him next year in the 13. He will also be moving to Necotech, as will this man, Brandon Bent, one of the favourites of the series. Of course, with DW Motorsports shutting down, he's going to take his fame number 27 to Necotech next season. So watch out for him next year. Travis Crampton in the number 97 Daytona 500 champion will return to this car next year. He starts from 12th. Kelly Lee in the 76 will return to this team once again next year. Winner at Talladega. Brad Perez, our most recent points-paying winner. 2 of the last 3 wins. 2 of the last 3 races. He has won in that 92. He'll move to Velocity in the number 11 next year. Caleb Rose in the 32 winner at Watkins Glen will return to Pacific Racing next year. Those are our 15 drivers that have already won this season, won points-paying races this season, and the rest of the field, of course, the guys that advanced on through the heats. Jared Oren, the winner, who dominated Heat 1, but he's got a lot of work to do from 16th. Addison Steinbach, the winner of Heat 2, he starts from 17th. Matthew Hubert in the 8th from the 18th position, finished 2nd in Heat 2. Ludovic Charette, 2nd in Heat 1, starts from 19th. Rogel Dawn will start from the 20th position in the 04, and Will Parrish from 21st. They both finished 3rd in their respective heats. Julio Caesar and Christian Vargas, 22nd and 23rd, and Jack Haas got the final spot with the 5th place finish in Heat 2, and of course the tiebreaker over teammate Leonard Koshman. So as we get the budget starting lineup for the final time, the race facts, track facts and everything, Isaac, it's 100 laps. There's going to be a pit stop about halfway, maybe just before that. So who do you think is going to victory lane here in this final race of the season?
as unpredictable as we're expecting this race to be, I think I'm going to go with Alexander Rowe. Has been arguably the dark horse of the series so far this season and has come very close to, the most winningest driver in this season with 5 wins alongside Benny Watson. Could add one more win to that tally before the season end.
He's in a good position starting from 3rd on the grid. We'll get these cars to roll off and celebrate season 6 with one final hurrah, of course, and what will be hopefully a very entertaining main event here at the new Smyrna Speedway. All 24 cars are rolling off, which is good to see. And that's our 2 championship combatants, and they've been the top 2 basically the whole season. I think it was from Martinsville onwards they were 1st and 2nd the entire season. It was quite a remarkable run that both of them had with their consistency. It was Dawson Miller who won the championship and will lead the field to green here in his final ever event in the Gratton Cup Series. Pace cars on pit road. Here we go. The last race of season 6. New Smyrna Speedway, New Smyrna Showdown, green flag. We're racing for the first of 100 laps here at New Smyrna. Now to turn 4, first lap will be led by Dawson Miller in the 48, just barely, because Alexander Rowe really wanted him to get past, and he just couldn't quite hang on that inside, and so Miller holds on to the lead. Rowe 2nd, good start for Bright. He's ahead of Anthony. Henrik Waugh on the outside. He's going to try and get down in front of Charlie Davenport, won't do so. Here comes Rowe to the inside for once again of the 48 for the lead. Miller tried to cut him off and got maybe booted out of the way a little bit. Here comes Rowe side by side and Miller at the line, but I don't think he's going to hold the lead for much longer because Rowe's got the ideal position and he's going to take the lead away here on lap 4. Comes the 95 of Eli Bright, working his way forward up into the 2nd position. Of course, he's got 3 wins. Breakout season for Eli. He's done nothing short of a remarkable season for his standards. But Miller closing back in here on this number 95 and trying to get back up to 2nd. So a remarkable season himself, Dawson Miller, with all the consistency and everything that happened with the 48. He's been nothing short of brilliant, but it's Bright at the moment who is clearly much faster than everybody else at the moment. He's closed in on the back of Rowe. Dominic Anthony looking pretty quick here as well. He's on the inside now of Miller and he's going to get himself up into position and here we go, side by side for the lead as Bright is down on the inside of Alexander Rowe, and I think he should be able to get this one done, and he does. So Bright clears for the lead, Rowe in 2nd, Anthony in 3rd, Dawson Miller, Charlie Davenport inside the top 5. Here comes Kelly Lee back on the inside here in the 76, but here comes now Henrik Waugh. So Lee slid up the racetrack, that left her a little bit vulnerable to the 71, although we'll get down in front of the 71 and we'll hold that position. So Lee now up to 6th, Brandon Bett back down to the 8th position. And some of those drivers that race their way into the main event, like a Ludovic Charette, for example, and this 23 has worked her way forward. Just outside the top 10 currently in 11th. Hanson Steinbach is in 12th, and some of those drivers doing a fairly good job. We've got to bounce back here with Matthew Hubert, Robert Dawn, Jared Oren really struggling much harder in dirty air as we had a change for the lead, as Dominic Anthony has got down to the inside of Donnie Head's got to the inside of Eli Bright. There's a bit going on at the moment technically, so just trying to get that sorted. But Anthony to the lead, Rowe to 2nd, Bright slipping back on the outside, Dawson Miller right there as well. Top 4 trying to break away here. Very early stages still here at New Smyrna.
I think we're all done with our technical difficulties, so
fingers crossed.
yeah, what a start for Dominic Anthony. You can see Miller trying to claw a few spots back at the moment, and he will, getting back around Eli Bright, but hasn't actually quite cleared him yet. Bright is still sticking it to the outside, finally going to get that spot done. Actually, no, still sticking that outside and gets a bad run out of that corner. He falls back now under attack by Gwar. Going to slip right in.
Right now in 5th position. Trying to work his way back after starting on that outside. He's got a decent run. Anthony's looked very fast off the start. He's worked his way up to the lead. I thought Bright was going to be the one who was going to be able to pull away, but got reeled in by Anthony. He's now dropping back. He's behind Gwar. Down in the... He's going to be 5th here, but might be vulnerable here to Kelly Lee with a nice run here, the 76. They slid up the racetrack a little bit, got pretty close actually to Bright. That could have been disastrous. But, no harm, no foul in the end, so Lee right there. He's going to get to the inside now of Bright. A lot going on in the early stages here at this in this new Smyrna Showdown. As I said, we'll have a pit stop about, let's say, lap 45 or 50, somewhere in that range, and if it is, let's say, lap 45, then they will have to pit again. But we'll see as Lee gets to the inside. Should get around Bright right here. Davenport as well wants to go out on a high in what is his final race as a driver before he takes over, well, becomes a new team owner. And Brandon Bent wants to send DW Motorsports off with a race win as well. You got Caleb Rose doing a good job here in the 32 in the 9th position. Start on the inside, he's worked his way up. There's Alan Ludovic Strat at the moment in the 11th position. Braden Perez trying to work his way forward because he won at North Wilkesboro, so good on the short tracks here, this 92. There's Caesar, Benny Watson, Will Parrish at the moment in 15th. Travis Crampton, so a couple of the Ernst Racing cars struggling. Well, 3 of them really. Rogel Dawn, 17th. Addison Steinbach. There's a big Hornet. So gaggle of cars back in here. A bit of a Hornet's nest. Steinbach, Vargas. You've got Clifton, Hubert back in there. Max Davis, Jack Haas, and Jared Oren. What a contrast to where he was in Heat 1 at this stage in the race. 23 laps in. He was obviously 3 seconds ahead of the field. So dramatic change for him. But Anthony's doing a good job. Rose not letting him get too far away. But then you got Miller and then you got Gwar and Kelly Lee inside that top 5.
Things have definitely calmed down at the moment. Rose is looking pretty quick. Gets past Davenport, as did Bent actually. Yeah, Rose gonna make that stick. Perez is also going to get to the inside of Davenport, and yeah, Charlie Davenport now really falling back on that. Oh, Rose had a really bad run out of that corner and is now actually looking almost to get pushed 3 wide by Davenport. I don't know what happened there, but that was a big slip up for Rose, and now Perez is going to take advantage of that. Allen to the inside. Charette now also going to make her way into the top 10 potentially. It's all kicked off, all because of one mistake from Rose.
It's a pretty big slip up, wasn't it? It really drove up the racetrack there. That left it bobble. Oh
no, Caesar!
No, Caesar!
Oh, Parrishes into him.
Oh, look out! Will Parrish back up into Watson and into the wall. And collected by Hubert, Clifton, Davis, and others. And that is the first caution tonight, and unfortunately, that is all she wrote for Julio Caesar in the 26. You've got to be careful here if you're the 39. There's Will Parrish, unfortunately, caught up in that incident, his last start for Evans Ross Racing. Got to be careful.
I think we're all good there.
I'm just worried that they might run into the back of each other here. Here we go. First round of pit stops.
Take their pit stop here.
So, checks out. Lap 30 here of 100 at the new Smyrna Speedway. It's Dominic Anthony, the race leader. A lot of damage on Will Parrish. That was an unfortunate scenario.
There's that chaos I was talking about.
Yeah. It was a bad place for the 26, of course, to lose that engine. A shame there. What was it, actually? It was, yeah, it was just a 959. It's a pretty significant engine failure at that as well. And a 4-tyre stop here. You see Watson with the damage 96. He's not going to get an extra. He's not going to get a 6th win this season. Good stop for the 39. Jumps out ahead, well ahead of Rowe, and pretty close there. I think Miller got out ahead of Bright, but Bright I think jumped War. So a couple of changes there. Brain Perez, Brandon Bent, and Ludovic Charette and company all back there as well. First caution we've seen tonight in any of the 3 races so far. It's Dominic Anthony, the race leader here in the 39. Let's take a look what happened to trigger the yellow. You see the hard battling up in front of Julio Cesar here, but of course that has nothing to do with it because the 26 rounding turn 2 and down the back, unfortunately, it gets pretty close to Davenport, but he's going to have an engine foul out of turn 2 right there. See it let go. And it's going to be awkward timing here because he's trying to get down low. Will Parrish is obviously, he's carrying all the speed. He wants to get past the 26. And perhaps a little miscommunication, a bit of contact there. 26 and the 11, as Caesar's obviously trying to make his way on the pit road, just kind of hooks the 11 a little bit. He slides up, and unfortunately for him, he's going to slide up into Benny Watson, who was the innocent victim there. And they're going to slide up into the outside wall and ride each other into the wall pretty hard in the end. You're going to see Rogel Dawn's going to get through it. Oh, just a little clip there. Matthew Hubert, unfortunately, not so lucky. Runs into the 11. And then you see Hubert spinning out. And then here comes Clifton and Davis. And you're going to see there's Clifton, obviously. Max Davis running into the car he'll drive next year. And you see as the Steinbach gets a little piece of it there as well. Jack Haas gets through it unscathed. Same with Jared Oren. So it's good for those guys, but not good, unfortunately, for a lot of the drivers involved. 6 cars involved here in this incident. Lap 27.
All right, having a look at this one in real time, you see the 26 of Caesar. That engine just lets go, and a little miscommunication, as Stuart said, gets into Watson, and then a lot of drivers nowhere to go, not much space, and you see Max Davis and Rogel Dawn, among others, get into that, and a lot of damage on that 96 of Benny Watson. The first time, from my knowledge, this season of a Nicotech engine letting go, not something that we see very often, and really unfortunate for every single car involved in that one.
No doubt about it. Probably none more so than Julio Cesar, who minding his own business, and then the engine lets go, and that's all she wrote for the season, and will likely be his career as well. That's a shame. Unfortunate way for him to finish up here in the series, but the man who has been in every single race, and we mentioned Tristan Allen has raced in every single race, but the man who will hold that title to himself, I imagine next year, Dominic Anthony. He's the race leader. He got off to a very good start, good pit stop, and he'll lead us back to the green here, the new Smyrna Showdown. Lights around the pace car, going back to green next time by. We've got 67 laps to go. You can make a joke about that. Dominic Anthony is the race leader. His teammate Alexander Rowe is second. Dawson Miller, Eli Bright did jump Henry Gore on that round of pit stop. So Bright now 4th, Gore back to 5th. Kelly Lee 6th, Brain Perez, Brandon Bent, Ludovic Charette, Caleb Rose inside the top 10. And 2 cars out of the race, of course, Julio Cesar with that engine, let it go, and then, of course, Will Parrish, unfortunately, the number 11, caught up in that incident. A lot of damage on his car is done for the night. Good restart for Anthony. Jumps out to an early advantage here at the new Smyrna Speedway on the restart. Here comes the 48 of Miller. Here comes the 95 of Brighton. Don't be able to make a move just yet. Matthew Hubert, he's a long way off the pace. Either that or he's just come back down. He was down the pit road a few times under that caution period to repair some damage. He's definitely got damage, but I'm not sure if he's just come back out or what happened. So he'll probably have to deal with him a few times here in this one. There goes Anthony to the inside. Here comes Rowe. And look at Bright sniffing around here at Miller in the 48. Comes like here to the inside. Miller's going to hold on. Now duck to the inside underneath of Hubert. And hello, Brain Perez is on the move here in this 9-2. He's about to break into the top 5 as Gore gets down in front of Ludovic Charette. That was pretty close there.
That was a very aggressive cut down by Gore. Of course, the runner-up, this season, ran very well, was looking to actually close on Miller at the end of that season, and we now have a pass for the lead. Alexander Rowe around Dominic Anthony. Going to get that one done, and Dawson Miller's going to follow him right through.
Yeah. Not yet. That's right. He's there, though. He's on that inside, so you would have seen that all set up. You might be seeing it now as Rowe takes the lead. Here comes Miller on the inside. He should be able to get this one done, as we've seen all night, that the outside lane by far and away the worst line to be in here at the new Smyrna Speedway, as Miller gets past but then slides up the racetrack himself. Here comes Eli Bright back to the inside, getting back to the second position. And look at the 92 who won at North Wilkesboro, won at Homestead, and here he is, his last start for this team. Oh, he's trying to get underneath of Anthony. Anthony cut down in front. That was pretty close. They're going to try and go 3 wide down the back. Anthony's not quite alongside Miller. Perez forces the opening, gets Anthony up out of the groove. Bright clears for second. Perez on the inside for fourth. And that's going to open the door here for Gore and Lee. And how about Jared Oren here at the 99, who not too long ago was last. He's now inside the top 10. Great restart for the 99 as Anthony getting shuffled back. Miller now on the inside of Bright. So the energy has turned up. It's gone up another level, certainly compared to what was seen in the heats. As Miller on the inside for second. All of this is doing Alexander Rowe a lot of good. He's now 7 tenths up. And as Miller gets past, Bright's got to try and cut down in front of Perez. Can't quite do it. There goes the 92 on the inside, and he's going to try and get to third.
What a run from Braden Perez. He's really taken advantage of this restart, and he could be one to watch for the rest of this race. He's really showing his pace, and he might be one to look out for the next season, but he's just made a mistake and let Gore through. That is not what he would have wanted to see whatsoever. Henry Gore now to the inside and going to get that, and we've seen this one before. Henry Gore and Dawson Miller. Gore's going to try and chase back up to him. Kelly Lee's going to make her way through as well. And he's going to get that. She's going to get that one done there. Davenport trying to get to the inside of Bright. Bright's going to get down, cut to the inside of Perez. Turn defense into attack, but can't quite stay down there. And now we've got almost 3 wide straight in the middle. Gonna just back out of that one. And Oren is going to make his way through. What a run also from Oren, going from at one point to from last into the top 10, and now Kelly Lee is looking pretty fast herself, now to the back of Henry Gore, trying to make that move. Gore slides up the track, and Lee is gonna get that move done to the inside, gonna stick her nose through, and she side by side gonna try and get that move done, and is gonna get that one stick, as Braden Perez now gonna run Gore up the track and try and get that position back after that mistake that he made. Some incredible racing we've got going at the moment after this restart.
It's all to play for. It's a hell for leather a bit at the moment, and Braden Perez knows that. He's on the way for. I'll tell you what, Jared Oren was dead set last at lap 25, and here he is now in up in the top 10 in 7th. He's got a real shot, because that car was very fast in the heat. We saw it, and he's working his way forward. He started 16th. Keep an eye on him, and it's funny how quickly things could change. Rather, Dominic Anthony dominated the early portion of the race before the caution. He's led 27 laps tonight, and all of a sudden he's down the order a bit, and he's actually in 8th at the moment. So how quickly things could change. 2.5, nearly 3 seconds off the lead. Oren to the inside of Bright, gets past the 95, gets past his teammate. Here comes the 71 of Gore back to the inside. So moves are being made back and forth here at the moment, but Alexander Rowe has checked out, and your pick to win. I can see why you would have picked him. He's done a great job here tonight in this 51. He's done a great job all season, and if a couple of races went his way, perhaps he would have won the championship. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, perhaps, but Miller doing a good job. How about Kelly Lee in 3rd? That's a great drive from a team and a driver that's did not have a good second half of the season. right now currently in that third spot and doing a very nice job of things. Perez obviously doing a nice job of things ahead of Oren, who's now inside the top 5. Got around Guar. How about Christian Vargas back in here, the 36. Another one of these drivers that advanced on via the heats. Same with Rogel Dawn. I think it cramped it back in there. It's got a bit sideways off the turn. It's going to get to the inside of Dawn. 2 of the rookie drivers this year. And, both of them having great years. Both will be ones to watch next year. It'll be quite interesting to see how they go. The battle just outside the 10 at the moment. They're 11th and 12th. Brandon Bent down in 13th. It's dropped away as the race has gone along. Crampton overdrove the corner. Here comes the 04 back to the inside. So the battle continues here for the 11th position. There's Brandon Bent sniffing around in the 27. And we'll be interested to see how he goes. There's the 00, Jack Haas. Ludovic Charette, Caleb Rose both really dropped back in this run quite hard. They've really dropped back. Tristan Allen as well. Now, Allen actually has a bit of left side damage, so there might be more to the 14 here, because he's a long way off the pace at the moment. We know Max Davis involved in the incident earlier on. Same with Steinbach, Watson, Clifton, Matthew Hubert as well. And Hubert is the last car on the track at the moment. Rose still leading. Jared Oren is up to 4th. And he is on the tear. He wants a win. Even in a non-points event, he wants another race win before this thing is all said and done.
Absolutely. I think this team and Jared Oren, I think NS Racing as a whole have something to prove for next season, and they're going to be ones to watch for sure. And honestly, they've looked pretty quick in this second run. We've seen all 3 of the undamaged NS Racing cars making pretty good moves and making ground throughout this race. And yeah, Jared Oren is slowly moving his way up. Braden Perez having another bad corner, loses ground that he was making up on this second, third, and fourth battle. And yeah, this is really getting close now. I mean, yeah, they're really shaping up to have quite the all-time battle here, and it'll undo, I think, some of the ground that they've actually caught up to Rowe a little bit. They've made up a couple tenths here, but Lee's looking to that inside, doesn't want to be staying behind Miller much longer. But it's really a balance on whether they want to keep on catching up to Rowe for the time being and not battle and make that ground, as we see Hubert once again off the pace. Of course, could throw a spanner into the works here, could hold up Rowe depending on where he catches Hubert. And yeah, that gap between Miller and Rowe is really narrowing up now.
Indeed it is, and might narrow up more depending on where Rowe runs into the 8. Oh, that's not a great spot for the 8 to be right now. Rowe's going to get to the inside. That's not going to help his cause. Oren with a good run off the corner, trying to get around the 76. Can't quite do it, so Lee will hold the position, hold that third spot for now as Rowe finally gets around Hubert, and Hubert's going to move down a little bit here on Miller. You see how much time he lost, 3/10 that last lap to Miller there, Alexander Rowe, so not ideal for the 51. And Miller's going to get around Hubert. There goes Lee. Oren, you'd imagine, will follow through as well. And then it will be Brain Perez back in there, who's dropped back a little bit as this run's going along. Good run through 1 and 2 there. Lee made a mistake. Oren to the inside, and he's going to capitalise. At the 99 is going to get his way up into third here eventually. He clears him now. So Oren up to third. Rowe's got that margin just out a little bit. He got that margin back out beyond half a second. There's Perez. He's going around Hubert. Warp, right. We haven't seen anywhere near as much as I saw from Anthony early on in this race. He's in the 8th position. Charlie Davenport, Royal Dawn, the top 10 as it currently runs. But this is where the race is at the moment, with less than 30 now to go. Alexander Rose led the most laps here in this event. Looking to grab another win before it's all said and done. He's got 28 laps to go. But Miller, and Jared Oren in particular, looks very, very fast, although he made a bit of a mistake there. He's going to lose a bit of time to the 48 in front, and we're going to have pit stops. Dawson Miller's going to go for the undercut.
Interesting how this move plays along.
We'll see how this one goes for the 48, and imagine we'll go for 4, as now Rowe is going to come in from the lead of the race. Jared Oren will hit the front. Also working their way around. See, there's the 48. Trying to get to him. There he is. You'd imagine he'll take 4, and that's exactly what's going to happen. You imagine Rowe will take 4. Some of these guys at the back coming in. Kelly Lee now from second coming in. So, interesting strategy differences up and down the order. Brain Perez running it long. You see there's Jared Oren, the 99. There's Dawson Miller coming off of pit road. A nice clean rejoin as now Oren switches down to the pit road. So that worked out quite well in the end. Nice and clean, because that can be treacherous. Charlie Davenport's going to run it long. Same with Christian Vargas. They're going to be the leaders. But really the battle is now between the 51 and the 48. Let's see where they come out relative to each other. Just trying to get to wherever they all are at the moment. There's Lee. We'll follow with the 76. Now there's Rowe. And it looks like Miller had a bad stop, because it looks like he's lost a bit of ground in all this. And he's going to get out ahead in the second, effectively second position, at least for the time being. Looking good for Rowe. And they've done quite well in terms of avoiding any incidents here on this cycle of stops. So Rowe's got out ahead. There's Jared Oren in the 99. He's going to jump out ahead of Miller. So Miller did not have a good stop. He lost 2 positions in all that. And that's going to hurt him, you'd imagine, in the end. As the last of the drivers are making their stops. Alexander Rowe's got a pretty good gap here at the front of the field.
Yeah, the Gifford technology is incorporated. I'm still making that mistake. Their pit crew has been pretty decent this year. I think the only other team that's been around their caliber has been DW Motorsports this year, and yeah, they've done a really good job increasing that gap. That was really closing up pretty quick before the pit stop started, and now staying out that extra lap compared to there's an issue.
Brad Pitt's gone into the wall. I think that's triggered a yellow potentially. And it has. Okay. Well, throw everything that we just saw out the window. Because Brandon Bent has been turned into the wall. A lot of damage on the rear and the right side of that car. And that 1.9 second gap that Alexander Rowe had is gone. It has evaporated. What a shame there for Brandon Bent. His last start for DW Motorsports. A lot of damage now on the 27. And we'll figure out what happened there. But that's going to bunch everybody back together. And for guys like Miller and Rowe, is the undercut actually going to hurt them? Because they're going to have older tyres than Lee. And certainly Oren's got very fresh tyres in comparison. So we'll see what happened there. To trigger the caution, second of the night, Brandon Bent up in the wall in turn 3. So here we go. These guys are battling pretty hard here for position. Brandon Bent, Jack Haas that just come off of pit road. And let's see here if it's Haas coming up the racetrack, Bent coming down. You see Matthew Hubris obviously slow. He's lap down, I think. Oh, it's not great. It's not easy to see from that angle as to whether or not Haas came up. Maybe Bent came down. Either way, contact. And Haas turns the 27 into the wall. And that is enough, of course, to trigger the caution. And a very interesting time to have a caution with less than 20 laps to go here in this race here at New Smyrna. And unfortunately for the 27, he is the unfortunate unwilling victim in this one. A lot of damage on the Parker Store Ford.
Having another look at this one again, you see Haas going to try and make the move on Bent. It's really hard to tell whether Bent came down there, but he gets put in the wall regardless. Haas may not have been too happy with the amount of space that was left for him, and it all culminates into that. And yeah, Brandon Bent into the wall, brings out the yellow. It's gonna set up a pretty good restart here, a pretty decent sprint to the end of this one, and it's gonna be very exciting.
Oh indeed it will be, because now you've got everyone closing back in here on Alexander Rowe, who's took the lead on the restart. We saw what happened to Dominic Anthony, who led so much of the early portion of the race. He lost the lead and certainly has not recovered. So we'll see whether or not Kelly Lee, Jared Oren, Dawson Miller, Brain Perez, or anybody else can catch the 51. But we'll find out. Second restart of the night coming up here at New Smyrna. Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. 15 laps to go in the New Smyrna Showdown, our final race of Season 6. All the marbles in this one, to say the least. Alexander Rowe has led the most laps here tonight. He's the leader. Kelly Lee is second. Jared Oren is third. Dawson Miller, Brain Perez the top 5, with Henry Ward in 6th. Eli Bright in 7th. Charlie Davenport, Rogel Dawn, Christian Vargas the top 10. We've all got 22 cars on the racetrack, 21 on the lead lap. Brandon Betts on the lead lap. Matthew Hubert, of course, 2 laps down. Green flag. Away we go once again. A good restart for Alexander Rowe. So drives up the racetrack a little bit. Lee drives up the racetrack. Here comes Dawson Miller. And the 48's going to get down to the inside here of Oren for third. Side by side for position. And of course we know that outside lane is definitely not the preferred lane, as Miller should be able to get past. That's not going to be good for Oren, because look at all the cars behind. A bit of contact between Perez and Miller. Off of turn 2. More contact. Oh, Miller saved that. How did he do that? How did he save that going into turn 3? And he's still going for it. Here comes Bright 3 wide on the inside. It's all gone off. There's a bit of contact down in turn 2. 3 wide down the back. Bright, Perez, and Oren all battling for position. Somehow they did not wreck. I don't know how. But with all that being said and everything that's happened, the top 2 have pulled away. Rowe from Lee. Here comes Bright in the 95 trying to get to the inside of the 48 of Miller. Davenport on the inside. Rogel Dawn, Christian Vargas back in there. It's all happening, but Rowe is trying to check out. He's 7/10 ahead of Kelly Lee.
That was incredible. I don't know how they kept that one together. Miller was literally going full sideways through the entry into that corner after almost getting taken out, and every single one of them managed to, even when they were 3 wide, keep it straight. And yeah, that's really worked out really well for Rowe and Lee, and I think Rowe's completely checked out of this one now and is looking to take that win. I don't know if Lee's really got enough to catch back up, and yeah, it's all going on in the ladder positions of this one further back. You see Davenport now down to the inside of Miller into 4th place. Dawn's going to also go for that and trying to make his way into the top 5, and he will. Yeah, I can't. I'm absolutely speechless.
I can't believe they did not crash. That was a remarkable bit of driving from everybody involved, because they were beating and banging. They could have very easily crashed out of turn 2 here in that 3 wide scenario, and somehow they all held on. Jared Oren was definitely the biggest loser of all that. I mean, look how far back he's now dropped. He's outside the top 10. He restarted 3rd. Miller has also started to drop back. He's about to drop down to 10th. Travis Crampton's worked his way forward in this one. He's now inside the top 10. You mentioned, how about Davenport up into top 5? That's a very impressive run for him. Given that it didn't really look like he had as much speed as some of the guys in front. As Crampton to the inside of Perez. I reckon Alexander Rowe's got this one in the bag. 4 laps to go. He just needs to drive it nice and smoothly, as they've all gone haywire behind him. And Kelly Lee does not have the speed to keep up with Rowe. And the 51 on his way to get his 6th win. Of course, this one's not an official win. It's a non-points event, but boy, he's driven extremely well. And Isaac, if memory serves me correct, you picked him to win. So that's got to be a nice feeling a little bit. This battle continues on hard as Rogel Dawn, Charlie Davenport. Dawn wanted to close the door on the 52. 52 wasn't going to have a bar of it. And side by side, they're going to go all the way to the end. Bright is in 3rd. He's going to run out of time in catching Lee, but he's certainly going to try. And Dawson Miller in 9th. White flag, last lap of Season 6. Alexander Rowe drives up the racetrack a little bit, but he's got plenty of cushion. He's going to see the checker flag for the 6th time this season. Alexander Rowe is going to take the checker flag here at New Smyrna. Rowe wins the New Smyrna Showdown to round out the season. He gets it done for Gifford Technologies Incorporated with Kelly Lee in second, Eli Bright in third. Rogaldor did beat Charlie Davenport for the line, and Henrik Waugh actually nearly got Davenport for a top 5 at the end, but Davenport home in 5th. That was a lot of fun, Isaac. That was a lot of fun. What a race that ended up being, and you said there was going to be some chaos, and boy, was there chaos.
Absolutely. They really turned it up for this main. They were like keeping it pretty clean in the heats, and of course we weren't seeing like the best of these drivers to see how aggressive they would get, and we really saw it in this one. Really great job from Alexander Rowe. I feel like he's gonna really enjoy getting that win, especially throughout the season, having a few unlucky moments to not be up there to fight for the championship. It'll be good to end this season on a high note and really bring that momentum into the next one.
No doubt about it. He will be one of the drivers that will be one of the favourites, I'd imagine, for next season in terms of the championship. You see the final results on your screen. So, Rowe, the winner here at New Smyrna, it ended up being 1.3 seconds. He led 63 laps in this race. He was fantastic tonight. And once he took the lead after that first caution, he really did not look back. And it's a good thing he didn't look back, because a lot happened back there. Kelly Lee in second, got past Dawson Miller on the pit cycle, and then was able to hold on a second. Didn't quite have the speed of the 51, but a great result for the 76 in what was a tough end to the season. Eli Bright in third. Rogaldor, Charlie Davenport. Great battle there at the end with Davenport. Guai ended up working his way forward up to 6th. Braden Perez. Somehow, Braden Perez did not crash. I can't believe that didn't happen. Travis Crampton worked his way up to 8th. Jared Oren had a really fast car and just didn't quite get that restart right. And he ended up dropping back to 13th, and then worked his way back up to 9th. And then Caleb Rose dropped outside the 10, and he dropped back, and then he worked his way back up to 10th. So good result in the end. Dawson Miller ended up being 11th at the end of that all. He actually was the biggest loser at the end of it all. Didn't look like it was going to be for a while there, but he ends up home in 11th. Dominic Anthony, Tristan Allen, who I imagine got damaged potentially somewhere. Something happened to the 14, not sure what. Ludovic Charette, Jack Haas, Christian Vargas, Max Davis, Davis on down, all involved in incidents. Davis bent, Benny Watson, Addison Steinbach at 20th, and then the last 4 drivers to finish. The last couple of drivers to finish were Noah Clifton, Matthew Hubert was 2 laps down, and then Will Parrish and Julio Caesar out. Parrish involved in that incident that was started when Julio Caesar's engine let go. That does it for us here at the New Smyrna Speedway. Of course, no points to talk about. We know that Dawson Miller's the champion, and we know that's all happened. And, that does it here for Season 6. That's it. No more. We are done with the season. And, it was a great season, a lot of fun, and obviously Dawson Miller champion. Congratulations to him. And now we move forward to Season 6, and there's a lot to play out. I'm going to say move forward to Season 7 rather. We move forward to Season 7, and there's a lot to play out there. We're looking forward to how Season 7 plays out, and of course, lots of new drivers, lots of new teams. We've got new faces in different places, old faces in different places. There's a lot that's going on, so it's going to be really quite interesting. Will start in August. Right now, at least, will start on August the 9th with the Daytona 500. We're looking forward to that race, and we're looking forward to the season getting underway. 50 drivers will attempt the Daytona 500. That will be a lot of fun. Of course, we only have the 46 cars attempt throughout the season, and then before that, though, next week, we continue to go racing with a new series, the Budget Truck Series. Isaac, you're in that as a driver. You're in the 26, and we're looking forward to seeing how that series plays out. As of the time of recording, we've got spaces still available for that series, so if you click the link in the description to join the Discord, you can find a way to the Truck Series sign-up. Still got a few cars available as well for the Cup Series Season 7 as of the time of recording, but I don't know. By the time this goes up, that might have changed. I don't know. So join the Discord, link in the description, and we'll see you all for next week at Homestead for the first race of the Budget Truck Series, the Flash from Florida 200. So for Isaac Nichols, I'm Stuart Grand signing off from the New Smyrna Speedway. Congratulations to Alexander Rowe on his race win, and we'll see everybody for the Budget Truck Series next week, and we'll see you in August for the Daytona 500.